Hello, welcome back to the Boardgames4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. Generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a dice drafting game. We're going to be talking about Sagrada, and in this game you'll be drafting dice from a pool to build your own lovely looking stained glass windows and maybe use a few tools that will boost your chances of winning this game. So in this video we're going to give you a very brief overview of the rules. We're telling you what we do like, what we don't like, then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Sagrada is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. We'll see you after this. Boardgames4K. So, Sagrada, how do you play this game? So first thing you're going to do is you're going to shuffle the private objective cards. You're going to randomly deal each player one of these cards, and they'll look at it and put it face down in front of them. This is sort of like a pointer that's going to sort of shift you in a certain direction throughout the game, right? So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to give each player two window pattern cards. They're going to look at them, they're going to choose one, and they're going to slot that in the little slot on your little window player board so you can see it through a little window. So you're going to look at the difficulty level of the card that you chose, and you'll get a certain number of favour tokens, these little glass bead things, dependent on the difficulty of your window card, and you'll place these in front of you. Now what you do, you'll chuck a round marker on the relevant spot on the round tracker board, and this will sort of double up as a scoreboard when you flip it over at the end of the game, right? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take all the dice, bung them in a dice bag, and then you will draw from the dice bag a certain number of dice dependent on the number of players, right? So the more players there are, the more dice you're going to pull out of the bag, and then you'll roll the dice, right? So on your turn, you're going to have two options. You're going to be able to draft one of the dice from the dice pool, or you're going to be able to use a tool card. So when you select a die from the pool, you're going to be placing it in one of the squares on your window board, right? There's a few restrictions that you've got to be mindful of when you do this. The first die that you decide to thieve has got to be placed on one of the edges of the window, and then every die that's subsequently drafted has got to be placed adjacent to another die. You cannot place a die orthogonally adjacent to a dice of the same number or the same colour, and dice have to adhere to the specifications that are on the window board. So if the space dictates that you've got to place a 2, then you've got to place a 2. If the space dictates that it's got to be a green die, then it's got to be a green die. So the other option you got is you can utilise the ability of a tool card, and you remember that you were allocated a certain number of favour tokens, right? And you'll be able to spend these to access the tool's ability. So a few of the tools that you can use the copper foil burnisher, and what you do, you'll move any one die in your window, ignoring value restrictions, but you must obey all other placement restrictions. You might have the run-in pliers, and after your first turn, immediately draft a die, but you'll skip your next turn this round. Or you might have the glazing hammer. You'll re-roll all dice in the draft pool, but this may only be used on your second turn before drafting. So these are sort of quite varied, and they can be quite helpful, and they do sort of help you to navigate yourself out of the toilet that you might find yourself in. So you keep doing this, you will keep drafting dice, you'll keep placing them in your window, and you'll keep doing this after 10 rounds. The game will be over and you do a bit of final scoring. So you will score each public objective card, and these public objective cards are quite varied. You might have a colour variety where you'll get 4 points for sets of 1 of each colour anywhere. You might have the deep shades and you'll get 2 points for sets of 5 and 6 values anywhere. Or you might have the row colour variety where you'll get 6 points for rows with no repeated colours, right? So then you'll score points for your private objectives, and all these is that you'll get a certain number of points for the sum of the value on different coloured dice, depending on which one that you assigned at the beginning of the game, you know what I mean? You'll get 1 victory point for each unspent favour token, and then you'll lose 1 point for any open space or unused space on your window. So once you've done the final scoring, then the player with the most victory points will be the winner of Sagrada. So what do we like about Sagrada? So the first thing that we really like about this game is its unique theme. I don't think I've ever seen a game about building stained glass windows in the Sagrada Familia, or stained glass windows anywhere. And also the way it looks absolutely fantastic on the table. I mean, the dice in this are sort of see-through. I can't remember the word is, opaque. That's the opposite of that, isn't it? I don't know, I'm thick, I ain't got a clue. But the dice, you can sort of see through them, right? So they do sort of glint in the light. They look absolutely fantastic once you've crafted your own little window. So the second thing that we really like about this game is that the favour tokens and the tool cards offer you not only a way out of a cul-de-sac if you do find yourself struggling, but they also add a little bit of variety to what otherwise would be a pretty sterile and stale game, really, you know, because it's no fun just sort of drafting a die and placing it on the board. You need things that are going to give you a leg up or a little boost now and again, and the fact that you gain points if you don't spend the favour tokens is also another little quirk that we quite enjoy about this game, you know what I mean? So the next thing that we really like about Sagrada is the fact that where the action takes place over 10 rounds, it's quick, but it's not too quick. I mean, if this had, say, been maybe 6 rounds, it would have felt like it was flying past like Ben Johnson on a load of performance enhancing drugs, right? But no, they've got the length down really nicely. Okay, it might take 45 minutes on your first couple of games, but once you've got the rules down and you know there's not really many rules anyway, is it? But once you've got this into your head, it really does flow quite quickly, and there's just enough depth and length to satisfy that little itch. So what don't we like about Sagrada? So the first thing that we don't like, and in this day and age is sort of unforgivable really, is that if you're colourblind, you ain't got hope in hell of actually making sense of this game, because it all relies on colour. If you're colourblind, you can't play this game. You know, I know a couple of people that have really wanted to play this game, but they got it, they looked at it, and the fact that they couldn't make sense of the different colours meant that they were sorely disappointed that there was no maybe some icon or symbolism that could assist them with their colourblind issues, and that is pretty much unforgivable. Isn't it? So the next thing that we don't like about Sagrada is that the random dice draw coupled with the random roll means that somebody is always going to be struggling with this game due to the random nature. I mean, it's the nature of the beast with these types of games. There are going to be games where you're going to be swearing your head off thinking, oh, for f***'s sake, not again. I haven't got the colours I want, and I haven't got the dice that I want, and the tools aren't going to help me to overcome that. And sometimes the shit just doesn't have any kind of consistency, does it? So the next thing we don't like about Sagrada is that there are occasions, again, dependent on the random card draw, that the objective cards, both public and private, are not going to marry with your window card. They're just not going to be able to help you tap dance through this excruciatingly mind-numbing puzzle. And if you are unlucky enough to draw that, then it's basically game over from the off, because you ain't going to be able to recover. And if you do get some crap die rolls and some crap colours come out when you really don't want them, and you do have those crap cards, then you might as well just shoot yourself in the first round. So the final thing that we don't like about Sagrada is that where this is basically a solitaire multiplayer game, you're not going to be paying attention to where other people are be placing their dice. And it might be the case that maybe somebody's going to make a mistake. We've been there, we've done this multiple times, that when you get to the final score and somebody's going, oh shit, I've placed a green die next to a green die, or a number 2 die next to a number 3 die. And it's very difficult to unpick mistakes in this game. I know the rule book does give you a sort of a penalty if you do that, but you don't want that. You don't want a penalty. You want to just play through this game nicey, right? So really the only way to alleviate the anxiety of somebody making a mistake is that you've got to be a peeping Tom and look through people's windows. So to summarise, is Sagrada worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we are going to say yes, this is an interesting and unique yet light puzzle game that relies on one's ability to craft order out of chaos. The main negative for this game is that it is a basic no-no for anybody who suffers from the colour blindness affliction. But if you're not colourblind, right, then all in all, this is a really pleasant experience. We did enjoy playing Sagrada, right? So we're going to give Sagrada maybe 3.5 out of 5, maybe 4 out of 5. No, we'll give it 3.5 out of 5, right? There is an expansion that boosts this to 5 and 6 players and adds a few other bits and pieces and maybe fixes the colourblind issue. I'm not sure about that, but there you go. That's Sagrada. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment down below and don't throw a brick through my lovingly crafted windows.